The kettle started to hum just as the sun slipped over the neighbors' rooftops. Morning light spilled across the counter, soft and golden, catching on the chipped edge of my favorite mug, the one I've moved through every apartment I've ever lived in. I remember standing there barefoot, watching the steam twist upward, thinking, this feels different. There was nothing extraordinary about that morning. The kitchen was a mess, yesterday's dishes stacked beside the sink, my phone buzzing with a dozen unanswered messages, but something quiet had settled inside me, something I couldn't name yet. Maybe it was peace, or maybe it was exhaustion disguised as surrender. Either way, it felt still. I was 30 that day, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't trying to run anywhere. In my 20s, stillness scared me. I filled every gap in my life with noise, new goals, new relationships, new reasons to keep moving. I thought growth meant acceleration. If I could just get to the next version of myself, maybe she would finally feel calm, confident, healed. But every version of me kept arriving with the same ache. After my mom died, I learned grief doesn't end. It just changes shape. Some days it's a sharp edge, and other days it's a dull hum you learn to live around. I buried myself in busyness, convinced that if I stayed productive enough, the sadness couldn't find me. But it always did. In the quiet moments, in the drive home, in the middle of conversations where someone said something kind, and my throat suddenly burned. Illness came next, uninvited and unrelenting. Doctors called it idiopathic, which is a word that means we don't know why. I laughed the first time I heard it because that's how my whole life felt. Symptoms without a cause, chaos without a reason. And yet, here I am, building a business out of the pieces of myself I once thought were too fragmented to be useful, turning everything I've lived through into something that connects to beauty, to creativity, to presence. Somewhere along the way, mindfulness stopped feeling like an abstract concept and started feeling like a survival tool. It's not about perfect peace. It's about awareness, the courage to actually see what's in front of me without needing to label it good or bad. I used to think the universe was something I had to understand, a grand puzzle I'd one day solve. Now I think maybe it's not meant to be solved. Maybe it's meant to be felt. The chaos, the connection, the way everything somehow fits together and falls apart at the same time. At 30, I finally understand that living isn't about holding on to answers. It's about holding space for change, for uncertainty, for the shifting shapes of who we become. So I make my tea, breathe in the steam, and whisper a quiet promise to myself to stay, to trust, to be here, fully, finally here.